have to deal with this here for now, guys. It's not going to be that bad, actually. I just need to get rid of the bit boss for a little while. We can deal with this. Just a minor frustration. Anyways, let's do this then. To the bottom right-hand side, our red Protoss player is going to be from Cascade, DnS. He's playing against the blue Zerg to the upper left-hand side from Storm Gaming. It is Zanster. Setting out into game number 1 of this best of 3. And we get this roll and a probe already coming through the center of the map here. DnS just looking to see what he can get up to. Obviously just wants to scout early and just see what's going to be going on. Re-enable my music as well. I'm just going to have to re-go through my settings actually and compare them to like the NA server or something. Because I'm pretty sure my music is just like completely... Basically when I was at the event we were using my account right to cast on and stuff, and so a lot of my settings got changed while I was at the event over the past week or so. Because obviously they need different settings to what I use at home and so on. So I'm into this anyways. A hatch gas pool from Zanster in the early stages of game number 1. From DnS, a gate, Nexus core, and we are setting up into the very standard of standard openings from both players here in game 1 of this best of 3. Again, do let us know what's up. Let us know how you're all doing today, guys. And we do have our second series of the day on the other group, on Group A, starting up as well. That is Reno against Patience. We'll try and bring you guys updates from that, some moments or so, every now and then whenever possible. Do our best to bring you guys that action, so that's going to be going on as well. For now, though, just going to be, again, waiting to see what happens in this DnS Zanster matchup. So setting on up, we see Lingspeed currently on the way up here from Zanster. This pro just patrolling backwards and forwards out the front, and again, a drone just going to come on down to the low ground. I'm going to throw down a third hatchery in a moment or so as well, so... Oh, or at least he would like to, but pylon block will come down. I mean, if a couple more lings coming in, he's not going to be blocking for that long. 25 minerals to delay the hatch? I mean, it's a very negligent sort of thing. I don't think this is really going to have... it's not going to be one of those delays which has any sort of real impact on the game, or the order of things even, really. Third hatch coming down, Stargate comes up from DnS, and DnS has liked a lot of Stargate play as of late. He's been pretty much opening it in every matchup. I was casting him a bit at WCS Montreal when he took down Major or Special in the group stages, and again, even in that matchup, he was using a lot of Phoenix play, Stargate play in general, so using it again here in the PVZ as he sets on up, and Oracle is on the way out, and he gets this ready to roll. Lingspeed coming through here as well from Zanster, so that's going to be finishing in just a few moments. And this Adept picking up some damage on one of the drones, so one of the drones doing just a little bit of damage here, and again just going to be seeing this Adept as it shades forwards, just looking to see if he can pick up some extra information, or just be, again, be in general, be a threat, be a nuisance, keep the Zerglings at home maybe rather than on the map. He's actually in the meantime just backing away back home. This Adept will survive, he will get out of here. As the Oracle comes up and starts to move towards the upper left, Oracle into Phoenix, and probably a second Oracle after, a very standard way to initialize this game. It just sets you up into a position where DnS can basically go for kind of some mild harassment while also going for the kind of cleanup of these overlords. It's just a worthwhile investment of the Phoenix to get rid of these two overlords at this stage of the game. You can use the Phoenix to scout around a bit more, continuing forwards. It can cover certain areas. It can help to pick away at kind of, ling drops or bane drops that come in later in the game too. So it's something that will have a use for out, even if it doesn't necessarily seem as though one Phoenix will have that much to really get done. Oracle is turning his pulsar beam off as we do see the Phoenix getting its first overlord kill then, exactly as we were expecting. And now the Zerglings here from Zanster want to try and maybe break through in towards the natural, but not going to quite find that opportunity, especially on hold position. These Adepts are getting some free kills, so Zanster has to pull those back now. And as this Phoenix comes to the left-hand side, and going to be working its way through this overlord as well. So this overlord is going to be going down. Overlord getting popped, and again, Lair on the way up, Bane the Nest on the way up as well. A few extra drones, and that Oracle on the way out of the Stargate. So, Oracle coming out the Stargate, the Phoenix going to be coming up in towards the center. And again, so far, kind of what we expect this to be. It's actually going to be the third Oracle, which obviously indicates maybe committing into more Oracles, and maybe even a second Stargate here at some point. We'll see exactly how DnS wants to play this, or whether he just wants to sit on just the 3 Oracles. Nope, there it is. 2 more Stargates coming down, so it's going to be Sky Toss play from our Protoss player, who for now on this side of the map only has 2 Oracles. The Phoenix about to pick up his 3rd Overlord kill of the game. This Queen very exposed. I would have thought maybe he would have focused on the Queen a little bit more, but I guess maybe perhaps aware himself that that Queen was going to be able to pull away without too much of an issue anyways. Maybe now going for it. Even getting the Queen half health, you know, it's actually going to be, well, there's a kill. It's actually a big deal, 5 drones and a Queen, because the Queen, especially as more Oracles come out, the less anti-air there is, the more powerful these Oracles become. And obviously, if all of a sudden you're flying in and there's, you know, a couple less Queens, well, a Queen especially can build up energy for them transfusions. So one Queen is more than just a Queen's worth of damage. It's also all the health and, you know, help it gives to other Queens as well, you know. And that can be a big deal. You can transfuse a Hydra or so. And all the damage output really adds up when playing against this sort of Oracle style, because it can snowball so heavily if you run out of anti-air initially, if you don't have what you need. Now these 2 Oracles are going to come in just as this Queen's about to finish up again. It's, I guess, on the wrong side of the hatchery for both the Oracles and the Spore Crawlers, so nothing able to be taken advantage of there. As he comes back in, one more worker kill. Now he turns off the pulsar beams and backs away once again to where the 3rd Oracle is sat awaiting. Oracle in the natural expansion. He's got his 3rd base up behind all of this DnS. Obviously, Zanster starting to move in towards that gold base too. Down the left-hand side of the map here on Odyssey, a map with the Zerg, you know, a map which the Zerg players really do love to play on. It's generally a very difficult base to continue expanding on as a Protoss. It's a very easy base to move around and to kind of put yourself aggressively into certain locations of. Obviously, as the Oracle player in this game, DnS, he's kind of designed a strategy, or using a strategy here, which will allow him to minimize the power of the Zerg being able to choose their fights. He's the one that's going to be choosing the fights. As we're going to see these Oracles, they don't want to overcommit, and there'll just be a Revelation going down. He'll back away from this fight. 1 Oracle down. That's the Revelation, which is nice. This Overseer going to get caught by the Phoenix. That's nice as well. This Phoenix is having a pretty good time. 3 Overlords and Overseer now. Going very well. It's just going to be seeing these Oracles from DnS as well, moving around to see what's up and what's going on. So these Oracles gathering themselves together and still looking for more openings and more opportunities in general to close this out. Infestation Pit comes down from Zanster. In general, as +1 missiles comes up, by the way, you'll probably want to go into +2 missiles as well, but the Infestation Pit, a nice little addition that will also help out. Love the melee upgrades too, because that will be your own transition here later in this game as well. Just moving in towards the kind of hive tech. Maybe you see some ultras come out, but also just in general the banelings becoming so much more powerful and so good at running by into mineral lines can also be a super good way of looking at this here. As you're going to see those Oracles again just sat to the right hand side of this main base. As you can see, Oracles again having to be careful, drops the Revelation there before backing away. A couple drones going down, but nothing too major. And in the meantime, we are just going to be seeing the hive continue to come on up. The +2, +1 coming through as well. Sorry, I had to open a drink there midway through my sentence. I needed to keep myself rolling. As you do see these Zerglings moving over to the right hand side. Looking to see what they can do as they run towards these gateways. Already starting to nibble away through the front. And we're just going to be seeing the Spire on the way up. So a transition here from Zanster, obviously with the Hive initially, but then into the Spire probably for Broodlords potentially. Might just focus on kind of Vipers and Corruptors though, as a way to fight against these Oracles. The Revelation comes down as again. Queens and Hydras able to help push away this time. As this Oracle comes up to the top side. And we're just going to be seeing the Oracle moving in towards the main base in a moment or so. So moving in towards the main base, you're going to be seeing a Revelation getting dropped down. Queen, Swarm Pool, and a Hydralisk Den. All getting caught, and all getting picked away at. Creeps still spreading around all over the shop as well here, as we do see +2 missile upgrade, the +1 melee upgrade coming on out. That thorough upgrade coming through on the third base. And still just going to be seeing these Oracles gathering together again over to the right hand side. Fully peeking on the way up, and as we see the +1 air weapons coming on into play, DnS continue to get this rolling. It's kind of interesting, he just hasn't found a chance to really use his Oracle army yet, but I guess he's not far away from that. Some Banes on the way in though, and it's not a lot to protect these Zealots from those Banelings. And only really 2 Archons for splash damage right here. It's been a very passive kind of Oracle-based plays. We see this hatch getting cancelled. Now those Zealots still going to be in a little bit of trouble. They'll charge forwards and start to trade with these Lings. Obviously the surround and Hydra damage output will do a lot to eventually help clean this up properly. So the Zealots do go down. And again, just going to be seeing those Banelings waddling around with the army. Bane speed about to finish up in 10 seconds. Revelation coming down once again, always keeping track of where his army is. I mean, the thing is, from DnS, he's not really taking fights because he doesn't want to have to rebuild oracles and rebuild other units. He wants to build into the Skytoss, right? You know, there's a reason he's gone for the beacon, etc. For now, just the mothership, but perhaps soon, carriers, Tempest, that sort of thing will be on the way up. And if he's busy rebuilding oracles to kind of have a fighting army, well, that wouldn't be great. But he is going to move forwards for the fight. There is a fungal growth potential. It hits right on top of a lot of those oracles. Zealots have just charged into a bunch of Banes, but now there isn't any Banes left, and honestly, these oracles are going to keep on doing a lot because there isn't enough Hydras here. The Zealots and Archons on the bottom side now are going to pick away at these Queens, so they're starting to drop as well, and man, those Hydras are just dropping out of the ground. Well, sorry, not dropping out of the sky, but they're being kind of pummeled from the sky. So much damage out, and these couple of Spore Cores are not going to matter at all, and this is where I think DnS just sits above this base, gets rid of the gold. I mean, you can get rid of a whole bunch of these Banes as well. Right now, Zealots and Archons still pushing forwards, and another base going to be going down in the next few moments. Hydra's rallying, and while Zanster's just falling apart here all of a sudden, just didn't have what he needed to get out in the right places at the right time, and they created again this very awkward situation of him just suddenly running away, and just didn't manage to hit the kind of fungal growths he needed. I suppose there was one big fungal, but there's no follow-up to that. He was backing away from it, and that didn't really work for him because some oracles were able to still chase down the rest of the infestors. DnS now sending some Zealots up into the natural at the same time. Oh, but there's the Baneless coming in from the Zanster. Nice little move in from the left to be able to clean that out. Okay, a lot of oracles were lost. The problem is, though, Zanster lost so much that he's been slowed down heavily, and there's no way that Zanster gets up a realistic response to multiple carriers in the near future here. By the way, we have just seen, just a couple moments ago, Patience has just wrapped up game number 1 of his game against Raynor. I'm going to be throwing this down on the bottom corner here for a second just to show you guys the final fight. As Patience, he was pushing it on in towards a kind of lurker-based army. It's right here in the main game that we're watching. The Corruptors do turn those oracles away. But as you can see, Patience had plenty on that picture-in-picture, and he was able to push this back to victory in game number 1 of their series. So game number 1 of that going to Patience over Raynor. Meanwhile, these oracles still getting chased away by the Corruptors. As we get ready to roll and continue into the bigger Skytoss army now. So again, set up into this. A few Zerglings going to go top right and find a whole bunch of cannons. This is the issue though. DnS has just gone up to 4 bases, 5 bases. He's had no worries at all in terms of continuing to build up in this game and continue to set up into, you know, extra bases. Zanster has not been the one to be able to apply pressure. And that's why DnS, as he maxes out on carriers, really will be almost impossible to stop because he just has so much eco behind this. And okay, sure, Zanster has bases up as well. He's got 6 bases on the map, but he's had bases dying. He's had to rebuild bases, rebuild economy. In fact, if you look at the worker count, it's 83 workers now from Zanster, but the income has been very DnS favored for a while due to the fact of previous bases going down, drones being picked off. And now Zell's going to start charging in. This should have been a dead hatch already, perhaps, but instead it's just going to be the extractor tanking some damage. Hatchery will still go down nonetheless. And again, it's just something Zanster cannot really compete or keep up with at this point of the game. Again, a few carriers just overhead as we see the Lings and Hydras coming through to clean up once again. Corruptors coming forwards. We'll get rid of a Phoenix here nice and quickly. Again, those carriers throwing interceptors down towards the Corruptors and able to push this away. Revelation coming down too. I'm just going to be seeing the robo facility from DnS also dropping over towards the 3rd base. DnS even kind of expanding forwards here to the triple gas base. The base we barely, basically never see getting taken here on Odyssey. Like, we really don't. And yet both players are starting to take this. It's just not that often to actually see kind of a real split map scenario on this map, because it is one of the more aggressive maps. It is a map that kind of ends early in the game rather than later most of the time. I was going to see these Zerglings. Well, they're going to collect together once again and going to go run by. And that's one of the things that's finally going to start maybe slowing DnS down a little bit. Like, at least he's, having to start responding to this. And actually, those Zerglings are monsters at the moment. +2 melee and adrenal glands, picking off all of these Zealots being walked in to help with this. And DnS still doesn't actually really have an answer. Zealots going to charge the bottom left-hand side, but Hydra's picked them off. The problem is the main Skytoss army is moving forwards here. Only 6 of the 8 carriers are on the map are in this position. Oracle's getting sent over, will protect this base. 16 probes going down, though. Those Zerglings have had a field day. And DnS has to be cautious. He's currently just kind of cleaned up some creep tumors here and there around the map. Trying to slow Zanster down. He sets up another run by to the south. But Zanster's back in this here. He's rebuilt his army. He's bought himself enough time to set up into all of this. And now he's able to, again, look for those fights once more in the next few moments. Interceptors moving forwards, picking off another creep tumor, and the Oracle's still just towards the center, thinking about what they might want to try and do in the next few moments as well. Overlord goes down. Zerglings get caught by a stasis ward. Some interesting stuff so far. We actually see a recall away from this side of the map. I'm just going to be seeing Zanster. And again, stabilizing for now here. Game number 1 of this best of 3. It's best of 3s all day today in Group Stage 1, round of 32. We will tomorrow have best of 5s in Group Stage 2, which is the round of 16, of course. Interceptors coming in, cleaning out a whole bunch of Zerglings already. And more Zerglings from Zanster still moving around too. Zealots will charge in towards the low left-hand side. And Zerglings going to surround once again. The Zealots once more going to be dropping. And that will be that. The Hydra's helping out with that also. Zerglings towards the lower right-hand side. Zanster still looking to see what he can do here in the next few moments. 4 more Vipers on the way out. 5 more Corruptors on the way out. As we're going to be seeing these Interceptors again. Going to be working their way through some of these Zerglings. So Interceptors working their way through some of the Lings. We're going to be seeing a couple of Zals coming through. I'm just going to be again seeing a good setup here to just continue picking those Zerglings off. Problem is here, the carrier force is still in play. There's a few Archons to help out, and this base is not going to last 2 seconds. The only count here from Zanster is, well, Parasitic Bomb, Infester, Corruptor. I mean, he's got all the different tools he might need. Does he have enough of them, though? Right now, the carriers are very clumped together. Has to be very cautious of that. Revelation went down on the Corruptor, so he knows that the Parasitic Bomb is there. So he knows that Stay and Spread will definitely help him. As you see already, a Broodlord just getting caught to the south side. Broods to the north. I'm not actually sure what these Broods are going to do. A nice Fingal Grove, but no follow-up. There we go. Where are the Vipers, though? Where are the Vipers? They're not here. There's no Parasitic Bombs coming down. The Corruptors will move forward to try and fight this, but the reality is the Sky Army is just going to be way too much. Where were those Vipers? Did they just go down during a fight? I'm going to get this rolling on Interloper for game number 2 of the best of 3. Leading the series to the upper left-hand side is going to be our red Protoss player from Cascade. It is DnS. He's playing against the blue Zerg to the lower right-hand side from Sidestorm Gaming. It is Zanster. Again, we'll keep you guys updated with Patience versus Raynor matches and updates. Keep you guys updated with all of that. I'm just obviously trying to juggle 2 games, and again, we want to focus on the DnS Zanster series here. That's our main matchup that we're going to be watching. The winner of this does play against Snoot, remember. The loser of this will play against Soccer. And we are going to be having the, well, those matches basically continuing as we move on through the day. Over in the other group is going to be Cyril, who's taking on the winner of Patience and Raynor. Obviously, no winner decided there just yet. And the loser of that series plays against Blue Cheese. I wonder if it would be possible to kind of play one of the winner matches and one of the loser matches. Kind of, you know, basically like don't do winners of both groups at the same time. Because it'd be kind of cool if we could cast both. Like Snoot versus DnS or so. Or Snoot versus Zanster, but also then afterwards cast like, you know, Cyril versus the winner. Rather than just having to kind of, you know, do both winners at the same time and then both losers, which are maybe just slightly less desirable series to tune on into. Next is coming down into the natural, and we are going to see the Cyber Core being thrown down to help finish the wall towards the front. Again, this hatchery on the third base from Zanster here early, just because of that probe being a slight nuisance early. Nothing really too crazy though, and again, the initial setup, there's not going to be anything out of the ordinary. Fairly standard stuff. And we just wait to go from here. We just wait to go from here and continue on through. Man, just excited for all the matches we have today. Just the fact that we have so many games. I always love the Penthouse Party. I remember last time it was quite the grind in terms of the stream length. I think we had a massively long stream the last time around. It was like 14 hours maybe. I think we had like 14, 15, and 16 hours in 3 days. But, yeah, pretty crazy nonetheless, as we do see these couple of links of Zanster going to pop out, and they're going to be running on around themselves. But it was some long days, but it was also some really fun days, as we see. Well, maybe I should talk about this game, because this is actually going to get interesting from Zanster. Evo Chamber finishing, only Zerglings on the way out, and he is going to be going for a bit of a Ling Flood here to try and pick up victory in game number 2. That Drop Lord starting to morph. As going to be seen Twilight Council finishing up in a moment behind this mineral line. As the slings come forward, they'll be getting ready to jump into that overload here, so we're going to get ready to jump on into that. 6 slings loading up, a couple pylons building towards the side. And again, there is one probe going down. Probes and an adept being brought forward here to continue fighting as well. These lings are going to come in and look for the surround on that adept, so they're going to be going for that. And obviously right now it is already kind of panic mode for DnS, who is all about defending right here and making sure he doesn't do too much more. Love this, target firing that drop load with the overcharge in the main. Really love that, because that's a very important thing, because it basically stops too much else from happening. Adept out the front and clean up lings as well, and so far DnS is holding very comfortably, to the point where I think Zanster's already in trouble, because he's still making more units. But what's he actually going to do? Is he going to push at the front? I mean, there's no way he kills anything significant in time. There's another dropping load at the back, but I mean, even that is maybe not going to be enough here, as we're going to be seeing these adepts. But one of them goes down, but it's still a full wall off nonetheless. And again, those lings just elevatoring up into the main. Let's see what happens. So a few more lings just going to keep on unloading. Resonating glaives on the way out for DnS. A few seconds moving around too, and there we go. Ling's going to run in towards this main base mineral line here. A couple of probes already going down. 4 or 5 workers being picked off. That's a pretty good damage again from Zanster. The problem is he's still 10 workers behind, and so he still has to do a lot more than just getting 6 probe kills. You know, he really needs a hell of a lot more than this. You see those adepts continue to push on through. And again, seeing what exactly they can do, where exactly they might be able to go. More lings going to rally in towards the main. Just really feels though DnS. Glaives on the way up, more gateways coming down. Still mass units off of just low eco from Zanster. Eventually with glaives, these adepts will just begin to trade so well, to the point where there isn't really a way to kind of stay in the game for Zanster. It's going to be seen now. I mean, the adepts have to be pulling backwards, but Mothership Core's picking up a lot of kills too, and these Zerglings, I mean, they're pulling back once again, but they're pulling back just to die a few seconds later. And nice shade just to make sure he's safe. And again, DnS taking precaution, but especially as glaives finishes, these adepts are going to become absolute monsters. And okay, Zanster once again finds another probe. He's picking his way away at the front, sure, as well. Some probes actually being pulled in just to help out with this, and maybe a bit of an overcommitment. I think he's kind of fine. This overload in the main base is maybe the biggest issue. But again, Glaives is about to finish, and as Glaives finishes, these adepts will become so much more effective at dealing with these Zerglings. Suddenly 8 Zerglings kind of surrounding adepts, etc. is not going to make anywhere near as much of a difference any longer as it was doing previously. Still Zerglings seeing where they can go. This single adept picking away when it can. And these lings in the main again just going to be picked away at. Nice denial of this here. I like that shade away where he left one adept in the main just in case Zerglings didn't run away from there. And of course just shade the rest down to the low ground to deal with that pressure too. And again, DnS continues to stabilize right now. There isn't much else to say about it. That's the situation we're in, where he is stabilizing. He's the player who is going to be able to put himself in a defensive position. He will go in towards the macro focus game now. Zerglings again sat just outside the natural, pulling their way down the left hand side of the map. DnS dropping down from Zanster as well here. +1 melee has just finished up. Here's the issue. He's going to need some really fucking good trades to be able to kind of save the day right now. These adepts are breaking out of their own base. They're going across now with only 3 gateways, but there's already a lot of adepts. There's a double Stargate behind us, so probably a transition into more Oracle play as we continue this on. Let's just momentarily just switch into this series here between Reno and Patience, because right now Reno is doing a pretty good job of pushing forwards in this. I'm not sure where our sound has suddenly gone to here, but Reno is actually in a very aggressive position, just poking forwards and looking to see what he can maybe get done. Again, I've got no idea why we have no game sounds, guys. I do apologize. It should be thing. Maybe if we just... We have it there, so that's something I just need to fix somewhere. But yeah, we see this fight kind of going on, and I mean, Reno's just up, doubling the supply of his opponent, and this should actually be just GG in a moment from Patience. So that is looking to be Reno picking up game number 2, tying up 1 apiece. Meanwhile, though, the fight is starting up over in this game, and it is going to be DnS coming on in, and already trading pretty well. The Bane's got a couple of good connections here, but at the same time, we also saw DnS just trading pretty well. And the thing is, these adepts are so expendable, right? I mean, okay, this is going to be a cleanup, but yet here we are. Zanster's only just yet about to take a 3rd base, for example. So he's only just starting to set up into that. And those are the sort of things that will definitely slow him down. Lings coming back towards the upper left-hand side. Adepts from DnS still gathering together as well. The Nexus on its way down to here. And as the first Oracle's coming up, obviously it's just something to help out once again. I mean, these Zerglings are going to have to be very careful. The Oracles can even fight those, which might not seem like a great idea. If you make a bunch more Adepts, then fighting the Lings could be a very powerful way to play this. Ling is actually going to continue across the map. Maybe look for kind of just a bust or something. Problem is, drones are only just coming back to the third now, and that's a very late return to the third for a player who's already behind on eco. He's going to be seeing his Oracles picking up 2 drone kills already. I'm going to see a Queen poking away at the couple of Oracles as well and push them out over to the left-hand side. One Queen here from the north, and push that Oracle back down to the south as well. So, 2 more Oracles on the way out of this Stargate in the natural. We're going to be seeing these Oracles coming in, and we do see a couple of drones getting picked off. So we're going to see it from Zanster coming up towards the left-hand side and looking to see what else he can do. Stargate is on the way down from DnS, again that's set up and ready to roll. And yeah, still 2 Oracles, a couple of them just coming over to the right. I'll look to see what else they can get up to. Overlord just sat here as well in position, waiting to keep on kind of just spotting. Just wants to make sure he knows about anything coming in. Oracle will go down, but the Spore Crawler gets killed. And the Queen goes down too. And again, this base is just exposed. DnS, I guess, momentarily thinks about actually just straight up killing this base. But I guess decides not to. As the Oracle's pulling away once again. Forge on the way up here from DnS, and we see extra gateways being thrown down too. And again, for game number 2, really, Zanster's just playing from such a deficit. It's going to be so hard for him to find a way back into this game. Some taco stuff coming in with the Chia 22 in the chat. You do see some Banes dropping onto this mineral line, and there's Banes in the natural as well. And there's going to be seeing a couple of Stalkers coming in, and they're going to be able to start picking their way through this with the overcharge route too. There's going to be a nice cleanup. And these Banes, a couple of them actually still going to the low ground. They're going to be able to get 4 more workers actually, which is quite nice. Oracles on the map don't really know where to go themselves right now. As you're going to see them now just pulling back up towards the center and to the top. +2 melee on the way from Zanster, who's really just relying on counterattacks and basically just avoiding fights in general, right? He doesn't really want large fights. He knows those are not the fights which are going to go his way. Instead, moving around the map and looking for counterattacks, that's something which could go his way. As we're going to see a couple of Queens taken down, the Spore Crawler will go down as well. And I mean, now the natural expansion is indeed going to fall. There's just enough Oracles here to justify sticking around to pick it off. Good damage once again as DnS just gives himself another reason to be ahead in the game. Now 3 bases against the 2 with a 4th base building sure, which will act as an extra hatch. Of course it will, but you need it ASAP. I mean, this main base, 27 over 8 workers, it's mining out very quickly. And right now, despite the fact, you know, Zanster's only 15 workers behind, which is already bad, he's also got 16 workers in the main that are doing absolutely nothing. And so you'll see this income spiking on up, but that's the sort of play that'll bring him back into this. Another Baneling drop, and it's something which DnS has shown us he's maybe not brilliant at just yet so far today. He's not been quite on top of all of it, but at the same time, in this game specifically, it's not going to matter all too much. He's far enough ahead that losing a bunch of drones, or a bunch of probes, it's not the end of the world. He cancels the 4th base there and just keeps Zanster down to 2 bases. Now having to try and rebuild his natural expansion, expand over to the right-hand side. Oracle's a bit low on energy. I think the main thing is just the fact that we can see that Zanster doesn't have an income, right? And because he has no income, we're in this sort of weird position where he's sort of unable to really tech into what he needs to tech. You know, he's reliant on Queens and Spores right now to stay alive, whereas usually he'd be rushing into +1 missiles, he'd be rushing towards Hydroden and all the rest of it. He's going to bypass that and just go for an infestation, but kind of the cheap way of trying to defend this. If you're going to hit some fungals and get the Queens to clean up somehow, well, that would be absolutely fantastic when it comes to, you know, truly being able to kind of properly defend over time, I guess. So these Oracles to the right-hand side, and Adepts and Zards pushing on forwards too. DnS may just go for one large attack here to try and wrap this game up. 4th Nexus comes down, but he sees the Zerglings, and so he just cancels immediately. And it's going to be the same story over here as Zards and Adepts hit this base. Again, the Oracles have a bit more energy on them than previously, and again, honestly, there just isn't the anti-air you need. There's a few Spores and Queens, and it's all nice, you know, added up together. It's cute as we're going to see, whoa, Banelings. I'm actually going to decimate that Grand Force of DnS, maybe getting a little bit ahead of himself. You know, comes a little bit late to arrive to the party. Again, so far the Oracles haven't really been able to do too much themselves, so a little bit of a bad play there by DnS, honestly, as we saw him kind of doing so much damage. Meanwhile, though, 2 Adepts in the third, and wow, 17 workers going down just like that. Again, Zanster just cannot get his feet in the game. He's trying to get his feet into the sand, but every single time he does, the waves come through and just kind of push it away, and he just gets knocked over. I don't know. This was going to be a great analogy, and then he became absolutely terrible. We're going to be seeing Queens going down in the natural, though, and obviously there's no real response to these Oracles. GG, and DnS takes game 2 to go into the winners match here today against Snoot.